Hello.
Hello once again.
Yes. So the task this week was to be positive and grateful and happy
Specifically about influencer
about
marketing,
influencer
right?
marketing. Yeah, and we talked about it this morning just to touch base to confirm the topic. And so we both had a few hours. The topic is just things we like, things that are good about influencer marketing these
Right.
days, I'd say. So I tackled it. I made a little sheet in my notebook and I was telling Casey it felt like Oprah gratitude journal
Which is not a
moment.
bad, actually, not a bad idea.
No, especially when,
Why
you
not?
know, if you spend so much time on LinkedIn, you can start to feel really depressed about the industry.
Everything.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a side note, but I realize there are moments and a lot of moments like this where my phone is in my hand or my computer's in front of me and I'm starting to look something up or look at LinkedIn. And I'm like, this is not going to make you feel any better.
Yeah.
This is not
No,
going to help.
never. Never.
So back away from the device. So, yes, a little gratitude, a little appreciation could
Yeah.
go a long way.
I mean, so my list are kind of I came up it took me a second to count 4. I came up with 4 things that I'm appreciating lately. And interestingly, they are all none of them are things that existed when I founded Sway Group 15 years ago. It's
That's
all
interesting.
new stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I went about it a little bit differently. I asked ChatGPT to kick out a list based on what you know about me. What do I think is a positive in this industry? What do I feel is good? And there's some things I will touch on, but as we both discovered, ChatGPT wanted to reverse engineer all the things that we hate about influencer
Yeah.
marketing into something positive.
Yeah.
And basically, that ended up being like, I like it when people aren't idiots, which
Right.
is not really a gratitude journal entry,
No, that just makes us feel worse. Yeah.
right? So I will pick a few of those that actually did resonate and felt true to me across the conversations that you and I have had. Yeah. So where do you want to start?
I can start. So I guess kind of a segue from you asking ChatGPT about this. I feel like there's so much negative being said right now about AI's role in influencer marketing and everything that's going on. And I just want to give a shout out to the area where AI is actually super helpful with
Mm,
influencer marketing and kind of making me very happy lately. And that's in creator discovery.
okay. It's
AI is really good
it's
at
come
it.
along.
It's
Yeah.
come along. Like you can just put in natural language into whatever discovery tool you're using, or if you're I've mentioned working with someone who like kind of built his own custom
Mm,
system. I have been playing around with some tools that let you do it more yourself, like do it yourself type of a thing. But you can say like, I'm looking for kosher influencers who live in California, and it's like kosher, got it, California, got it, who have an email address, which is so important to get out of those DMs.
okay.
You can specify between a certain follower account, follower count
Mm,
numbers.
sure.
You can choose the platform that you want. I've even seen some AIs, and then you can do lookalikes. You can say, like, okay, this one's perfect. Find me a bunch that are like this one. You can use AI to find people who, are holding a can of Waterloo soda water, or
Mm,
like it can search images. There's just a lot that it does a
robust.
lot faster.
Yeah.
You and I have talked about this. It's not going to take the place of emailing all of them and doing the back and forth and negotiating and actually vetting that content to make sure it's what you want. But I find, especially on the geo targeted campaigns that we work on, that discovery is a real slog. Doing it manually is very, very time
Yes.
consuming.
There's
And
no
so it's
easy shortcut.
no,
Yeah.
well,
Now
except
there is. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
It's fascinating to me because you and I were talking last summer about somebody who had a tool and was using this, and it seems in 6 months' time, it's not unique anymore. Like, it has rolled out into all of the platforms, and they're all offering this level. And I think 6 months ago, you and I would have poo-pooed it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're drinking the Kool-Aid, which is just, I think, advancement. It's just, you know, letting go of maybe the perfect so that it can be a time saver. And maybe AI, again, is better than human eyes can be.
Yeah.
Certainly much more quick.
And there are something, I don't remember if I shared this here or not. We used AI a couple of months ago to help us find, we were doing a campaign, a food campaign specific to perimenopausal women.
Mm,
And so the client wanted women. Did I share this before?
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like my mom repeating myself. The client wanted perimenopausal. They wanted women over 40 to talk about this food
Mm,
product, and so we got some help from AI in doing that. I learned AI is not yet good. I'm going to say yet because maybe it'll learn. It gave us a lot of people who were under 40 who, when they got that outreach from us, inviting them to apply, were incredibly insulted that we thought that they were over
oh boy.
40.
So that's the like tightrope walk. It's not just it's bad information. It could really put you at risk. Like, now Sway
Yeah.
Group looks a little sus to those people. How do you do damage control? Okay, well,
Yeah. So
thanks
you
for
still
being,
have, yeah, you still have to vet.
upfront about it. Yeah, it's a growth. What do you call it?
Learning
Growing
curve,
pain.
growing pain.
Growing pain of learning to work with the tool.
Yeah.
And I mean, side note, I saw somebody post on LinkedIn about their whole team. I don't know what industry they were in, but they used AI to run their numbers and crunch their numbers and forecast their sales and change their R&D and change their marketing for like the last year, only to discover that their AI had been hallucinating the whole time. Nobody double checked the numbers. Nobody ran it against, actual books, and heads were going to roll. People are going to lose their jobs. Like, it was
That's
really
insane. That's just
insane.
dumb.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so, but you're sharing, like, there's even just one little sliver of all the data it can pull in. It got that one piece wrong.
Yeah.
And that might be the most important piece versus maybe where they live, or I don't know, but like the 40 and up, man, if you're not yet 40, please do not lump me into that category.
Right.
I'm going to shake my fist. Well, good. Okay.
Um,
So AI, yeah, I guess is a good
AI.
thing.
Yeah. AI for discovery.
Good. Awesome.
Yeah. How about
I'm
you?
going the total flip side, because what I love about influencer marketing is that we are working with human beings who are ultimately finicky, or um, ever changing. You and I even said this last week or a couple of weeks ago. We could run exactly the same campaign with the same budget, same influencer, same channel, same message, everything the same. But 3 months later or 6 months later, and so much could change,
Yeah.
because the algorithms maybe, but also people just change, and the current economy or climate changes, and the cultural trends change. And that's a challenge of influencer marketing, but it's also what hooks me in, because it's ever different. Like, it's always different, the results you get from one campaign or one influencer in a campaign to the next. You know, AI can discover all they want. When the rubber meets the road, influencers make or break your spirit, your
Yeah.
absolute like heart, when they come back with some stuff that you're just like, how did we get here? So I'm veering into the negative, but when they pull it off, when they nail it, when they're a joy to work with, that's one thing. And then the discovery of insights, and holy cow, we didn't know consumers would think this or talk this way or respond in this way. And there's a
Yeah.
whole new avenue of marketing opening up or messaging opening up. That thrills me.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. I like that too. Okay. I'm trying to pick which. I'm going all wonky out of order with my stuff.
No one will know.
Okay. This is like I don't know if it's a deep cut or what, but it's something that's been coming up a bit for us. So when typically when you see folks talking about B2B influencer marketing, it's very much focused in that software space. And you
Mm,
and I have talked a lot about how we don't think it's typically done very well, that LinkedIn B2B influencer marketing.
Mm.
The B2B influencer marketing we have been doing lately, I absolutely adore, and it is 100% like um, possible to do it really well and authentically. And it's just like you get amazing content, and it's blue collar B2B
Mm.
influencer marketing. So, plumbers, contractors, truck drivers, um, like not people talking about like, oh man, this CRM software has totally rocked my world, but someone saying like this power tool made short work of this giant project I had, and
Yeah.
I love it. And now it comes in an electric version and, battery
Yeah.
opera, whatever.
Yeah.
But um, I'm just loving that category right now. And like as an aside, those clients are typically delightful because they've been told for so many years that influencer marketing was not a thing that they
Mm.
could do,
Right.
that it just didn't exist in that space. And so being able to say, actually, you can,
Yeah.
um, it's
Yes.
just fun.
So that reminds me of a couple of things. One is the early days of working with bloggers, where we were working with food bloggers. And what I loved was they were creating new recipes all the time, which to me felt like a new product. And I feel that same sort of grassroots in what you're talking about. Like these are real people who are actually doing, I don't know, things with their lives that aren't just keyboard warriors, right? They're actually um, and then the other piece was, I lost it, but it was about you saying they've been told they can't do influencer
Yeah.
marketing and you can do it. I don't know where I was going with the rest of that, but it's something that I'm tickled about too. I guess for me, it goes back to the human connection. Like you're able to make those people's marketing lives easier or their
Yeah.
marketing dreams come true. I mean, this might be overstating it, but you can
Change
be
their
the,
lives forever, really,
that's
is
right.
is what I'm trying to do.
They'll remember where they were in that moment when Danielle said, "Yes, we can do
Yeah.
this for you."
Yeah.
I just hosted a workshop for a local, maybe this is where I was going, a local networking group last week. And many of the women founders and leaders are embedded in their communities. And so influence, when we were talking, I was sharing about influencer marketing with them. And in some ways they are already doing it and they are the influencer and they were trying to lean into that a little bit more. One of them owns a payroll company and she goes out and meets with clients once a week and says and films it, teach me something. So it is the plumbers, the electricians, the whomever, the blue collar maybe, or the tradespeople, people that keep our, like AI is not going to fix my toilet. So it's real
No,
people.
and there's I'll say like a lot of the B2B stuff we're doing in that space is to try to bring new people into that space. So we've
Mm,
done programs specifically trying to get high school students
into the trades.
to go to trade
Yeah.
school, to show them that there are so many jobs available, to show them that this is a great
It's
avenue.
lucrative. It's
Yeah.
not crowded. They're actually starved for new, fresh talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Well, that's good stuff. It's yeah, I know there was a deeper point there, but maybe I'll
That's
figure
okay.
it out after we hang
Yeah.
up.
Okay. Well, you go. What's something else you like?
Oh, let me look at my list. Um, this was really funny, and I don't know that it might out me a little bit as a curmudgeon. So Chat GPT, one of the points was, I like influencer marketing because it points out the dysfunction in teams, which again is a backhanded compliment of sorts.
I feel like I've heard you say that.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. It's to me, and maybe it's just because influencer marketing is my entry point to working with teams. Maybe if I was a PR specialist or a payroll person, I would probably notice the same things. But it gives me a front row seat to where teams are not talking to each other and where expectations are out of line, or those simple things like you and I have talked about when somebody on the team, usually the decision maker, gets a crush on an influencer, or their kid says, you should really be working with so and so. And it throws everything into disarray because because of whatever. I love the psychology behind that. I love the human behavior behind that. And it probably links into why I like influencer marketing, as I said before, because it's ever changing. It's always about sort of our flighty nature as humans to change our minds or to make emotional decisions. But I'm fascinated by team dynamics. So it gives me a front row
Yeah.
seat to that. And I
I
don't know
love
that
that.
that's a good thing. Like, I would not be selling people on influencer marketing. I think it's just my
Well,
entry
I had
point.
one that I didn't write down, but it reminds me of it. One of the things I love about, I guess it's just about my job, is just learning about different companies
Mm,
that I would not otherwise get the chance to learn about. Like, I learned from a client a few months ago, we were talking about the tariffs. I learned that all the creatine in the world comes from China.
interesting.
Isn't it? It's just interesting. Like, you get these like
Yes.
crazy factoids about
Yes.
things that you wouldn't get. I
Agreed.
work with so many different clients and learn so many. I just,
Yes.
like working with all my dairy clients that I work with. I went to an event last year, and I mean, I was working with dairy clients back when I was at Edelman. So I've been working with dairy clients for 20 years now.
Yeah.
And I learned nutritional stuff that I had never
Mm,
seen before, just like
right.
how great the nutrition is of milk compared to most of the other, alternatives and
Right.
stuff. Like,
And then extrapolate that. I don't know if you probably did run into this, how the egg board and the dairy board are like enemies. They're the breakfast proteins that can't be on the same in the same recipe or whatever. Like, we know
yeah,
the politics behind that.
yeah.
That's super true. Creatine, and we learned that most apple juice companies import their apples from China to make apple juice. And we worked with obviously somebody who is like, we grow our apples in the US.
I'm trying to think. I learned that mushrooms are the only vegetable with vitamin D.
Oh, I didn't know that. I feel like I've heard that mushrooms replicate, like, really, their DNA looks very similar to ours in some
Huh,
weird way.
that's
So,
weird.
maybe, yeah. What is it called? The Last of Us suddenly springs to mind. Like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, no, right. And then you get the side eye from people because in random conversations, you're like, did you know mushrooms have vitamin D if you need
Yeah.
it? Right? Word to the wise. I agree. I like that as well.
Okay. Was that mine or was that an add-on to your? I think that was an
Eh,
add-on to yours. I can
sure.
tell.
Yeah, you go
Okay.
with another one.
I'll go with another one. Um, so this is something we haven't done a ton of this space yet, but it's something that I'm really excited by, and it's an influencer marketing, a type of influencer marketing activation that has just kind of gotten me excited in a way that I haven't been in a long time in terms of like quality of content and just creativity of content. I love these little micro dramas
Oh,
that are
right.
getting like, there's a time and a place for the infomercial style content where, they
Mm,
pull the product out of their purse and explain how it is helping them with whatever problem they have, and you should get it too. Like, that's never going to go away. But oh my gosh, it's so cool to see some of this creativity happening where there's like, we're actually creating little mini serial dramas
right.
within the influencer marketing
And it's so smart,
ecosystem.
right? Because it gives those creators much larger bandwidth or opportunities to monetize what they're doing if they have different, either many different ways of doing sponsored content, or a way that is so different than the infomercial and so
Right.
fresh. It'll be easy to spot why working with them would work for a
Yeah.
brand if it's
It kind
distinct like
of
that.
it reminds me a little bit of the quality of sponsored content like back in blog days.
Mm.
And
How so?
not everyone, but I feel like with some of the bloggers that we were working with, 15 years ago now, some of them were just so skilled at creating a piece of content that really stood on its own as an entertaining, because they had so much real estate. They could
Mm.
create this really compelling entertaining piece of writing that happened to have the product woven into it
Mm-hmm.
in a way that didn't feel like an ad.
Mm-hmm.
That's what kind of got me excited about influencer marketing in the first place. And
Agreed.
with a 30-second video, you're pretty like I feel like the just the media itself has become less and less conducive to telling that deeper story and pulling someone in with that. And so what these micro dramas do is it takes that 30-second and it extends it out into it just gives creators more real estate to be
I love it.
creative and do something cool and special. And so it's reminding me a little bit of those olden days.
Yeah, it's like, well, bringing creativity to bear on the problem, which is 30 seconds, doesn't really do it. So now we're talking episodic, right? Where
Right.
you're creating a longer story. Not for nothing, but I'll add to that. I just today was thinking creators need to demand a return to long form content, owned, because they're getting absolutely hammered by the algorithms and the channels that and they won't make as much money if they don't have their own owned channels. And so that's a smart, like, because the creativity becomes the channel, right? They can put that on any channel, they can put it on their own blogs, it becomes a revenue driver, I believe, because they're thinking more broadly about revenue streams and about monetizing and not just like I mean, because I think the brands, I think they went, this is a whole deal now, I'm turning it into a deal. I feel like the influencers went to social media more and more because it started looking more effective than long form, and now it's really turned, like it's biting them. And so I think they need to galvanize together and say, we're including my long form
Yeah.
content, bless you,
Thank you.
my long form platforms in this, so that they have more control over it.
I mean, the short form content, like who was I listening to? Someone was talking. Oh, I was listening to an interview with Charlie Puth on a podcast. Um,
Mr. Autotune.
he's he's a little bit on the dorky side, but he was
He's
talking
a
about
theater kid. Come
I
on,
know.
give him a break.
He was talking about how like he had a piece of content that had 200,000 views on it and it made him like the king of his high school for a day because that was like a huge deal. And then he was saying like that is so not a huge deal now. And I
Mm,
feel like that's what short form content has done is it's amped the views way up, amped the possibility to get exposure to a whole new audience like through the For You page. And like there's a reason influencers moved over to that because it does expand that audience in a way that's just like absolutely exponential. But I think you're right, there's a time like okay that happened and that's still going to always be a thing, but does it mean we have to leave the long form behind completely? And
right.
no it doesn't.
I feel like the smart talent management agencies aren't really talent managers. They're like creative directors or creative strategists for their creators of how do we choose the right channels and make the influencer the channel versus sort of having to chase algorithms and chase what the brands. I mean, all of it is still in play for sure. Um, and like when I hear about that, I think about how LinkedIn has tanked for all of us for our engagement and whatnot, and how that doesn't matter ultimately because when the right person sees your content, they could neither like it nor comment on it and still reach out to you, engage with you, remember you. My daughter, I'm going to compare her to Charlie Puth because he went to Berkeley. She goes to Berkeley. She had a TikTok thing with a band called Laundry Day that she was riffing on their song, tagged them, whatever. Fast forward, they invited her to their concert recently with a plus one and played her TikTok clip at their concert.
So much fun.
And she met the whole band and they're like, when you release new music. So I think there are 118 likes on that TikTok. Like it did not blow through the roof. It was much more direct. And that's part of, I think, the culture now too, is it's such a pipeline
Yeah.
that happens behind the scenes that we're not
Yeah.
even necessarily measuring with our influencer campaigns, but is definitely there. So all things I think can be true. Yes, the big numbers are great, but there's so much power at the ground level. too. And that's another reason I love it. There's
I was
power
going to
all over
ask
the
you to
place.
close this out. What was your last one?
Power all over the place. There's opportunity all over the place. So, and for creators, for brands, for strategists, for non customers of influencer marketing, just there's just so much learning to be had in real time. It's like this petri dish. So I love it for that.
Okay. Well, I'm feeling good.
Yay. I know. I was thinking, how many facial expressions will I be able to capture from this one? Because I haven't been rolling my eyes and like exasperated as we're talking through all the things that we hate. I might have nothing but smiles. In fact, I think I'm going to find nothing but smiles to
Nothing but
promote this one.
smiles. Yeah.
It was a
Love
good
it.
one. We nailed it.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I
See
will
you
see you next
soon.
week.
Sounds good.
Bye.